Hey guys, and welcome to this introductory, lesson for WordPress. What I want to do in this one is come at it from a perspective of basically suggesting that you haven't made a decision as to which content management system to use. I want to show you some of the other content management systems, or discuss them at least, and base it around the premise that you're probably going to choose WordPress based on the flexibility of it, the functionality, the scalability of WordPress, the fact that you can use it for so many different feature sets or requirements without the need for expensive software or anything like that. The fact that you can really custom code, build anything you want within WordPress. Maybe not yourself. If you're like me, I have zero knowledge in terms of programming. That's not where my specialism is by any stretch. I just don't get involved in that kind of stuff. But I have good programmers who look after me and in the team of the agency that know what they're doing. And we really honed in, I think about 8 years ago. We started investigating WordPress 10 years ago when I started the business. And I didn't like WordPress at all at that stage. We were looking for a content management system that really, I come from a design perspective, psychology and design really, and I was not impressed by WordPress. The old WordPress was bland, basic, limited in scope really. What we found with WordPress was you would get like these websites that were white with greys and blues, and the Georgia font was the kind of telling point of a WordPress website. You could tell them a mile away, and I didn't like it. Anyway, we tested a load, came back and forth. WordPress jumped a little bit over a year or two, about 7-8 years ago, and we took it on board and really kind of flew with it. And it's definitely been the system that has served our clients best, has served us best when we're building websites for ourselves or for clients. I think it's as I said, maybe 9 times out of 10 it's going to be the best solution for you as a business. There are other options out there: Drupal, Joomla, ModX, all sorts of stuff, and depending on your needs and your requirements, that's really where we come at it. When I'm dealing with a client within the agency, it's not just a default, we're doing WordPress. It's a discussion over what their objectives are, their speed to launch, how fast they need to go, what content they have ready, what their objective is for the business in the coming months and years. All those factors play in and really guide our decision-making process. And WordPress isn't for everybody. There's some clients where we build Shopify stores, and we can customize those to a certain degree. But then after that, it's limited. But we make kind of clients aware of that at the outset. And that's what I want to do in this video, is give you the best tools and best information, pros and cons, warts and all, about WordPress, and we'll discuss a little bit about that. And I mean, WordPress is a free system. It's an open source content management system. I have no vested interest in selling WordPress to anybody. I just happen to think that it's the best system out there for most implementations and uses and strategies within online marketing. And if you watch the rest of the series in Total Online Blueprint, you'll see that there are other platforms that I suggest you use for certain things within online marketing that WordPress it does it, but it doesn't do it very well. For instance, funnel creation, membership websites, online training, different things like that you can certainly do with WordPress. It just takes a lot more labor to actually make it work, a lot more management, maintenance moving forward. So in those instances, I tend to not recommend WordPress. Anyway, for now, guys, I hope you're well. Hope you're having an awesome day. We're going to shoot over to the computer here, and I'm going to take you through WordPress. Hey guys, and welcome to the first lesson in this module, why use WordPress. As I mentioned in the introduction, WordPress is going to suit most people as a platform. Just with the way it's been kind of refined over the years, it's really gotten to a stage where it ticks most of the boxes of online marketing. So as a straight up marketable website, there's not a system that is better or is going to serve you better than WordPress, certainly. There are other options. I'm going to discuss some of those in this lesson.
And there are other potential complementary options that work well with WordPress or perform certain functions better than WordPress does. So first of all, what are we going to cover in this lesson? I want to kind of dispel a lot of the misconceptions about WordPress. What exactly is WordPress? So I'm going to discuss exactly what it offers, where there's a bit of a confusion within the industry, and especially if you're new to online marketing, you may be coming at this and there are a couple of WordPresses out there. So I want to just discuss very quickly the differences between them and which platform is the one that you need to be going for if you want to really take online marketing seriously. You'll also notice below the video there's a couple of recommended reading articles linked specifically to that, and also the discussion about potential competitor content management systems which may be valid options for you as well. I'm going to assume for the most part that WordPress is going to be the one that you opt for, simply because it's the most rounded platform out there. It's the easiest to get into if you don't have any technical experience, and it does power something like 20% of websites online today, so that just shows you the scale of the website itself in terms of the platform, the support, the community behind it. Next, we're going to move on. I'm going to discuss what exactly can you do with WordPress in terms of the feature set, the functionality, what it's good for. And then what are the limitations? Where is it maybe not going to be the optimal platform for you moving forward? We'll discuss different facets where WordPress is not the best thing out there, but I'll show you as well how to use other platforms and really maybe create an amalgamated system between them. We'll discuss other options to WordPress, so the competitors, really their pros and cons discussion. I've had experience with all the major content management systems over the years, so I've got a little bit of experience. I can guide you a little bit as to what the others are and where you may want to stay away from them, or where they may serve you absolutely fine if you already have experience or prefer them. And then I want to do a quick run through of the WordPress dashboard and just discuss the major items of functionality. So the dashboard as a whole, how to edit that, how to go into your pages and blog posts and media items, and a few of the important elements within WordPress that I think it is important that I lay out for you. Okay, so what exactly is WordPress? Well, WordPress as a whole is what we call a content management system. It really is just a system with which you manage the content on your website, from the text, the imagery, videos, maybe some custom elements, maybe you change design facets of your theme and so on. And WordPress really started out as a blogging platform before it ventured into kind of the content management arena as it really has kind of embraced nowadays. But it still is the primary blogging platform out there. There is a bit of confusion though when it comes to WordPress, and it's related to these two URLs, wordpress.com and wordpress.org. And it's understandable that there is confusion because they virtually look identical. And I think it started out maybe as the same company and then branched out and split. But for the most part, the branding's the same, the colors are the same, the dashboard in the back end is the same. There's a major difference though, and that is that WordPress.com is kind of the original WordPress, and as such it is an exclusively hosted platform. So what that means for you guys is, if you want to set up your business, say you're called, I don't know, Prima Coffee or something like that, and you want to set up www.primacoffee.com and have your own custom domain, and you want to have complete control over everything that goes into your website. Well, WordPress.com will not allow all that kind of stuff. You won't be able to install custom themes, custom pieces of software. You will have limited control over the way the website looks. You'll basically pick a theme, whether that is a kind of free or a premium theme that you pay for, and then you'll be given options as to what your subscription is to WordPress.com. So you can have a free subscription, and your URL would be primacoffee.wordpress.com. So you'll always be kind of deferring to them. There is, because they host the website, they have control over things like the server. So you won't have any control over the performance on your website. Similarly, you probably won't have enough options, if you wanted to sell something off of your website, excuse me, you won't have enough options with which to really do that effectively with WordPress.com. WordPress.org, on the other hand, is what we call a self-hosted platform. So what that really means is you buy the domain, primacoffee.com, and then you buy a hosting package on a server, whether it be a shared server or like we recommend, a VPS. And then you upload your website theme, install WordPress on your server, and you've got complete control over everything related to that. What is on your server, the security protocols, WordPress.org's CMS, you can actually access the code or have your programmer do so. You can create custom plugins, use premium plugins, premium themes, like the 3 themes that I show you in the WordPress themes lesson that's coming up. Basically, you've got ultimate control, and that's where, from a marketing perspective, there really is only one option between WordPress.com and WordPress.org, and it's WordPress.org. Now, if you do go ahead and read the recommended articles, you'll see a bit more of a discussion about that in some more detail, and they're pretty short and to the point, but it'll give you more of an overview as well. So ultimately, the recommendation is don't go for WordPress.com either way. Even if budget is a concern, you can get a WordPress.org website, and it costs very little. I mean, it's going to be $5 to $10 for your domain, minimum of $5 per month for hosting, and then the theme that you're going to install. And really, ultimately, depending on your functionality required, that could be as much as you ever need. So it's basically just domain, hosting, and theme. So that's something just to consider as well. But let me know if you have any questions on that as well. I'll be happy to answer any. So yes, WordPress.org is an open source, self-hosted platform versus the kind of software as service of WordPress.com. WordPress is the framework, and this is the way it really works, is that WordPress gives you their open source content management system. And there's thousands and thousands of programmers all around the world who create little what we call plugins, you'll see mentioned here, little elements of software that add functionality or feature sets to your WordPress website. So you have a framework, which is WordPress, and then you basically overlay or install a theme, a design, basically a fully fledged website. And again, if you look at the 3 that I recommend, you'll see that out of those 3, you have almost 500 different website options that automatically install, look beautiful, function great, and then you basically just pick and choose which pages you want to keep, swap your content out, and maybe put a bit more strategy that I'm going to show you throughout this course into place, and you can launch in that way. So a theme is like the aesthetic, the user experience, user interface system, and it's overlaid onto the core WordPress framework or network, or content management system more appropriately. And then plugins are those little icing on the cake features. So they're little pieces of software that, much in the same way that you install a theme, you install a plugin and it plugs into the theme, and it's just a little snippet of software. So it could add a lot of different types of functionality to your website. It could be, for instance, an e-commerce plugin, which is a very heavy-duty plugin. It could be a social sharing button plugin, which is a pretty small plugin. But ultimately what it does is it gives you the freedom to fully customize the look, functionality, and feature set of your website, and also the ability to expand and grow and swap things in and out as you see fit moving forward. So really, with WordPress.org, there's zero limitation, but it's based on those 3 kind of stages in the process: the WordPress framework, the theme overlay, the installation of your theme, your chosen website, and then plugins. And then after that, of course, you've got content that you're going to create and add to the website. And again, I'll just preface the whole thing by saying that the only option from a serious marketing perspective is going to be WordPress.org. That's just the one you need to go for by default. But hopefully that has cleared up any confusion over what the difference is between the 2 and where you should be going. Alright, so what can you actually do with WordPress? What can you achieve with this platform? And what are the major benefits? Well, the biggest thing that I see and we see within this industry, and probably the reason that WordPress powers such a high percentage of all websites on the web, it's got almost endless functionality. So if you want to build an e-commerce store, you just want to have a blog, you want a straight up marketing site, you want to create a membership website and secure your content, literally anything that you can think of, you can create with WordPress. And it literally from just the theme install, you can customize that completely. You can customize the plugins that you install if you have a good programmer or you know how to code. And you can also create from scratch completely bespoke custom pieces of functionality, and you can create those as plugins or just hard code them as software. So for instance, we had a client recently where we built the whole website for her, and it was an e-commerce website with fulfillment by Amazon. And then she decided to move to a different distribution center. So we had to reintegrate the shipping notifications and the API, which is just a communication key between two platforms. We had to implement a whole new system to communicate with a standalone warehouse distributor elsewhere in the United States. So we did that, and that was kind of phase 2 of the website. And then phase 3 was really creating a completely custom loyalty program, where when somebody bought from the e-commerce site, it communicated with the loyalty program and added a tally to the person's account, and there were little graphics to show that within the account login dashboard. And once they had hit, say, 10 purchases, we had set up notifications to let the people know that they could get a free bottle of whatever the product was, and then that would reset once they had redeemed their coupon and so on. So just really to show you the functionality. If you can basically conceive anything in WordPress, you can achieve it if you've got a good programmer on board. So it is flexible and scalable. The design also, with it being an open source platform, you really do have a blank canvas. You can create any type of design that you want to within a website. Now, for some clients, our agency does completely bespoke design. So from a blank canvas, white page, we build a design from scratch. Other times we use an existing theme and just customize it, tweak it, improve it, refine it. But it's that functionality and flexibility that really allows us from a marketing perspective to achieve great things with WordPress as a system. Also, the way WordPress was built initially means that it is very SEO friendly. The fact that you can go in and add content on a whim, and you can add a new blog post or new pages, new media, new video. It's all very simple. It's a very short learning curve to be able to run a WordPress website. But you can actually go into everything you add to the website as to content and optimize that content. So not only is it really well laid out, and the structure, the framework is well put together for SEO, and a lot of the themes then as well need to follow those best practices, and that's why there's the 3 themes that I recommend you choose. But also then you can delve really far into content, optimize based on keywords. You can use SEO software that I recommend in another lesson. But it really just gives you, again, that functionality, the flexibility to be able to just add whatever you want to the website, which is the real beauty about WordPress. Also, unless you really, really need it, like unless you really want to create some functionality, a plugin that's completely custom, like that loyalty program I mentioned, you really don't need any technical skills to be able to install, import demo content, and then swap it out and launch a website yourself. And indeed, in another lesson, I'm going to walk you through that process so you can see how easy it is. And I mean, I personally do not have any technical skills. I can't code. I don't understand, aside from the very bare basics of HTML, I don't understand coding. I know from experience and through trial and error and listening and talking with our programming team, generally what is possible, what is troublesome, where the issues are, the best practices, all that kind of stuff. But I certainly don't have any coding skill or patience for that. And that's why in Total Online Blueprint as a whole, I've geared it for people who started out much like I did, with no experience, no knowledge, no technical expertise. And that's why WordPress is probably the best system in that regard. You really don't need any technical past experience. So as with any system, there's going to be limitations, right? Nothing is perfect, and WordPress is certainly no different from any other content management system in that respect. So where the limitations are, when it comes to more complex functionality, or potentially more complex functionality, sometimes the benefits of WordPress are also its kind of downfalls. For instance, in e-commerce and membership websites, There's a lot of software as service platforms out there like Shopify, Squarespace, Kajabi, different systems that you literally just set up your account and you could be up and running with a beautifully complex, not complex, sorry, a complex at the back end, but beautifully fluid e-commerce platform. With WordPress, it's very easy. If you watch the WooCommerce e-commerce video that I've done for you guys, I'll show you literally step by step how to install and launch your e-commerce store on your WordPress platform. And you can see it's very much step by step. It's click this button, go for default settings, add your first product, publish, launch, you're good to go, integrate payment systems, all that kind of stuff. So it is very easy. But if you want to do those more complex things, integrate loyalty programs, integrate shipping, distribution connections and things like that, or with the case of membership websites, if you want to lock down, secure your content so that people need a certain membership level with which to access it, those things become a little more complex. There's more steps involved and there's more maintenance with it. You need to know how to secure those types of things and what page, what link redirects where, and if somebody goes to the wrong page, do they automatically redirect to a sign up page, which is, if you think about user experience and user interface, that's the way it should be. All those things have to play into it. A lot of the systems are good and they have a lot of good default settings, but if you want something custom, you're going to have to really put a little bit more thought into it. Having said that, that's also kind of the upside, because unlike Shopify or Squarespace or any other platform like that, you really do have the endless functionality. So if you want certain steps added to your checkout process, you can do that with WordPress, where you can't really do it with Shopify and so on. Speed to launch is also a concern, not a concern, but WordPress, as you'll see, can be very fast to launch. If you get your domain, add a hosting package, upload WordPress, install your theme, import demo content, swap it out on a basic site, say a 4, 8, 10 page website, just like a straight up marketing website, you could be launched in a day or two. I mean, it's going to take you time to polish the content and really be happy with it. So probably allow a week or 2 weeks to sit down with everything and run through it and make sure it's all working and that kind of stuff. But it's a fast launch for a fully fledged marketing platform. It is, though, dependent on complexity. If you want to add in a full e-commerce system with 300 products, that's a lot of data entry. You're going to have to sit down and individually enter every product into the system. There are some import tools if you can do that, where you can import product details and prices and so on. So that can help automate the process, but you'll have to put a bit more time into it. Similarly, if you want a loyalty program like that one client wanted from us, that can take months to design the whole interface, to then get it approved, refine it, program it, test it, launch it. That can take months. So that's where it does come in. If you need to launch fast, you need to be aware that it probably is going to be a basic website to start with. The next thing that WordPress isn't so good at are funnels, online marketing funnels. So with WordPress, it involves a little bit more manual creation. It's very possible, and there's good software out there like OptimizePress with which you can create funnels, and you can create this whole launch funnel with their platform. But there's maybe a little bit more, not guesswork, but it's there's more room for error within it. That's what I'm trying to say. But it can be done. It just involves a little bit more effort. These days, in the last 2-3 years, there have been a number of automated software platforms that have been released. For instance, Lead Pages and ClickFunnels, which are specifically geared for funnel creation, upsells, cross-sells within your funnel. Very, very well put together. Fantastic systems. You'll see in the software walkthrough as well. I'll show you through each of those systems too, so you can actually get a feel for it and see if it's right for you. But those automated pieces of software are far superior in terms of creating a marketing funnel than WordPress on its own. So that's something to bear in mind. And as I said earlier, there is often that additional setup time. So if you're doing WordPress by yourself, you need to set this website up by yourself. It's very doable, and I'll show you the step-by-step process based on the themes that I recommend. But if you need that added functionality or you've got a lot of content that you need to write, create, and add to your website, it can take a lot of time to do that. And that's just, if you want to do it right, things take time. Also to bear in mind then, that it goes back to that point, WordPress.com versus WordPress.org. And I mentioned that WordPress.org, which is the platform to go for if you're picking WordPress, is self-hosted. So you have to go buy a hosting package. So it's more cost up front. If you're going for VPS, which is what we recommend, it's anywhere from $50 to $80 a month really. And then you've got to factor in security. You've got to make sure that your WordPress installation is locked down with the security software. Now again, I'll show you how to do that in the security lesson. It's very, very simple, not a problem to do so. But there's other factors you need to really think about and to tick off the list as you move to launch a WordPress website that is self-hosted.